right in the kisser.
How the devil are you? Whoa. Right. So in today's video, I want to tell you why I love Bluetooth. Now, recently, Randy over at Cheap Audio Man said he hates Bluetooth and it's a bit of a con or a scam and it's bad sound quality, etc., etc. So I want to counter-argue that, right? But here's the thing. I got no beef with Randy at all. I actually respect his channel and like it a lot. Now, a lot of people I've had in the comment section say they don't like Cheap Audio Man. I think his channel's really good. They say he's shilling a lot. Well, maybe, maybe not, but most of the products, a lot of the products he's reviewed, I've reviewed too, and I agree with what he says. And also, back in the day when I first started my channel, about when I started on Hi-Fi, I emailed him and he was kind enough to email back and explain some things to me. So I can't knock his channel at all. I really like the guy and I really like his channel. Got a lot of time for him. And he's not a friend of mine at all, but he made these comments about Bluetooth being bad and I have to disagree. And I want to put my point across why I disagree. So first of all, let's look at the codecs, okay? And I think I know why a lot of people don't like Bluetooth. And iPhone is for one reason. So, right? So iPhone uses AAC. And in the US, iPhone has 60% of the market share. So the majority of Americans, North Americans, tend to have an iPhone. And they've got to put up with AAC, okay? Whereas the rest of the world is kind of switched round. I think worldwide, Android has 70% of the market share, okay? So more people worldwide use Android. And now, the problem with AAC, it's all right, it's okay, right? You've got SBC, that's not very good. That's not great, okay? Then you've got AAC, and it's okay, it's all right. You know, it's not the best, okay? But then you've got aptX Adaptive, aptX HD, LDAC. Now you've got aptX Lossless, but iPhone doesn't support those codecs.
This is great. This is exactly how it was intended.
Whereas most modern Android phones do. I've got a Google Pixel 6a, and that supports up to LDAC. Okay, it hasn't got the lossless on it yet, but my contract runs out at the end of the year, and I'm going to upgrade to a Google Pixel 9, which does support the aptX Lossless. So there you go. And then, so that's why I think a lot of people with iPhones don't like Bluetooth, because they've got to put up with crappy AAC. When I say crappy, it's not that crap. It's all right. It's more than listenable, but it's not as good as the other codecs. You get what I'm saying, yeah? Right. So there's also an argument to be made that you have to have two devices that support those codecs. So one transmitting, one receiving, okay? So if my phone supports LDAC and the device I'm transmitting to only supports SBC, it will only play in SBC. So there is that issue, but most modern devices now are catching up. My amplifier supports aptX up to aptX HD. I have a DAC, topping DAC D53, fantastic DAC. Supports up to LDAC codec, and LDAC is fantastic, really, really good. I think it's 24-bit, 96 kilohertz. It can transmit that, so almost lossless. It's not far off. Okay, I guarantee you really wouldn't hear much of a difference between that and streaming. But we'll come to that in a second. Okay, so moving on to sound quality. Now, so a lot of people say, well, why would you bother with Bluetooth when you've got when you stream over Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi is a lot better. Which, okay, yes, you can get more high-res music over Wi-Fi, but like I just said in the last segment, if I was to blindfold someone, sit them in front of the speakers, and Bluetooth LDAC it to my topping DAC, okay, and then stream it directly from my amp into my topping DAC, I reckon you'd struggle to know which one is which. Okay, I really do. I find it hard to tell the difference. And I guarantee that most people would, unless they got really good hearing, okay? Unless they an aficionado of hearing, okay? I can't tell the difference. I can't when I'm using LDAC, and even aptX HD to a certain extent, okay? But there's also another issue. And I'll use my Topping D53 DAC as an example. Right, so my Topping D53 can support LDAC, Bluetooth. Right. That is a way better DAC than any WIM or WIM, whatever you want to call it. Even the more expensive WIMs, okay? Should we call it WIM or WIM? I don't know. We call it WIM, right? I'm just doing this on a whim. Just boom it away. So so my Topping DAC is way better, a lot better than the DACs they put in the WIMs, right? The WIMs are okay. The WIMs DACs are okay, but they're not as good as that. So there's that issue, right? So if I'm streaming to a WIM or I'm Bluetooth into my Topping DAC is probably going to sound better if I'm Bluetoothing over LDAC. I think so, because it's a better DAC. Okay, it's fantastic sounding. So there's that issue about sound quality, isn't it? So sound quality wise, I don't know. That's up for debate, isn't it, really? Then it comes down to interruptions when you're using Bluetooth. Oh, the interrupts when someone messages you or someone gives you a call and it interrupts the streaming from the Bluetooth from your phone when you Bluetooth into something. Oh, annoying. Well, two things. Firstly, right, just put your phone on airplane mode if you don't want to be disturbed. Easy. So it'll still use Bluetooth and you won't get interrupted. So if you want to listen to music, if you're sitting down relaxing and you listen to music over Bluetooth, put on airplane mode on your phone, problem solved. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Right, there we are. And then, like, claiming that Bluetooth, you get interruptions because of phone calls. Flipping heck, I've used quite a few streaming devices, right? Okay, maybe not as many as some people, but I've used HEOS on a lot of Marantz Denon amps. I've used a Wii Mini, okay, and I've also used, what's the Yamaha one? Music Cast, that's the one. And I go, all right, I get home from work and I got an hour before the family gets home. I'd love to sit down, listen to some music quickly. I'll just stream some music to whatever, to the HEOS, right, or the WIM, right, or the Music Cast. And I power up the amp or whatever, the WIM, whatever, stick it on, update. Whoa, flipping heck, right? And then it's 10 minutes to update. I'm like, whoa, flipping heck. All of a sudden it's updated and it wants to shut down, turn back on again, restart. I'm like, you bugger. And then I go, I haven't got time now to listen to music. Got all the time with the flipping updates, man. I know they got to update them, but saying that you get interrupted by Bluetooth, you get interrupted all the time with updates on these streaming amplifiers and devices. And secondly, right, without fail, and I've used Yamaha, Marantz, a couple of Marantz amps. I like HEOS actually, it's pretty good. And the WIM, I got a WIM Mini. Constantly, the app's freezing on you. What's going on? What? Nothing, just nothing. Got to come out of the app, go back in again. So don't talk to me about interruptions when it comes to streaming over Bluetooth. I get more interruptions from flipping streaming. Now I use Bluetooth a lot. Now, one of the arguments made was, how many times do you use Bluetooth at a party? It's convenient. I use Bluetooth all the time. Right through the summer, I have barbecues constantly, okay? And I got a Bluetooth speaker behind me here. I got another Bluetooth anchor speaker over in there somewhere. And I use them all the time through the summer in the garden. I'm going to go over friends' barbecues. I take them with me. So anyone can just Bluetooth to it, easy peasy, right? And it was also said, how many times do you have a dinner party? Well, I have family over almost every weekend, okay? We have a little meal, we have family round and we have a little meal and get together on a Friday, nothing heavy, okay? But I use a Bluetooth speaker then. Also as well, I use Bluetooth headphones to watch the television, right? Now you go, oh, latency, right? So you go, lip sync. And that is an issue with a lot of Bluetooth devices, okay? But the more modern codecs are a lot better. If you look at aptX Adaptive, I think the latency on that is 80 milliseconds, and the latency on aptX low latency is about 50 seconds. But I will say with LDAC, I think it's about 200 milliseconds, around about there. And don't quote me on that, it's around about there. I have had lip sync issues with headphones in the past, but here's the thing. So I got an older pair of Sony XM2s, and I watch TV in the evenings because I don't want to disturb the kids or the family if they're in bed and I'm staying up late. So I like to put headphones on. Now, what I don't want is to have a 3-meter lead run into the TV, okay? because it's just a pain in the neck for one. And also, have you ever forgotten you got the lead in and you go to move and then it goes yank and the plug flies out, almost yonks your head off? I've done that many a time. Now, it's more convenient to have a wireless headset to watch TV. Now, I use these XM2s and there's no lip sync issues at all. And funny enough, I just recently reviewed the Pecan F6, I think it is, and on their app, they've got a latency button, which if you get in lip sync issues, you press that, and it worked a treat. There was no lip sync issues. So there's that as well. Anyway, that's come to the end of my rant, okay? I think Bluetooth has got a place in the hi-fi world. I use it all the time. Let me know what you think about Bluetooth. Do you hate it or love it? Let me know in the comment section. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one.